welcome back to Hearts Wide Open, the men's health podcast. Today an episode with just me and a wonderful guest, Cris. Cris and I have known each other for quite some time. I think when I met you for the first time was probably around 2017.
Yeah,
something like this. I remember you from back then. We also had some touch points in between. And we already had some nice conversations prior to this recording.
Yeah,
I find it super inspirational how you've actually developed throughout these phases, and also seeing you in between and checking in, and showed me that you've also come a long way, and that like something that's like the main thing of this podcast is mental health, and that you are also on your own individual mental health journey, healing journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have introduced you just like a happy person who loves to enjoy life, who loves to dance, who's also a dancing teacher actually.
Yeah, I'm Colombian. That's also a big part of my identity. My name is Christian. I now live in Budapest. And yeah, it has been a long way. We were part of the same organization as well. And yeah, I'm a dancer and a salsa teacher nowadays as well. And building up a nice community in Budapest of salseros.
That's beautiful. I've experienced dance, especially in the past year, as something that can really help you express yourself and also release a lot of emotions, because I hear also that a lot of trauma is stored in the body, for example, and when I go to a dance and sometimes I just jump around, it can release a lot of happy emotions.
Yes. Dancing, it's very good for the brain. It releases a lot of chemicals, happy chemicals in the brain. Plus you're moving, I think it's a very complete activity, like you dissociate your body. If you're dancing alone, then you are exploring with your movements. You are maybe acknowledging muscles that you didn't know that you had. Or whenever you're dancing, especially the type of dances that I do, salsa, bachata, kizomba, which is more like partner work, then that connection that you get also with the people through dance, connecting with the music and connecting with someone else, to have that kind of roles in the dancing, there is always someone that leads and someone that follows.
Yeah.
Especially me, who is like the one that is leading the whole dancing. You gotta be so aware of where is the music, where is your body, where is the other's body as well, how you play with your weight, how do you connect with the person, that you're not only lost on the dancing or on the rhythm, but you're happy with your dancing and you're connecting with someone's dancing as well. I think that's incredibly great.
I feel like this is also a really we have this question on the podcast that we try to answer with everyone. What does it mean to be a healthy man? I was gonna ask you at the end, but I feel like it connects nicely here, because what you just said about dancing and leading, I feel like if you wouldn't have said this is about dancing, could have just been about being a man, to be honest, because also as a man the quality of leading is very important. Of course, on this podcast, we're also always trying to create a vulnerable space and be authentic and tap into our female, but the masculine is just as important, and both of them together make you a full human. That's what I truly believe. And yeah, what you said with like leading in a dance and also owning up to that masculine energy, being aware of those different factors and like adjusting.
As a lead, you need to be, and this is something I also tell my students, you need to be very sure of the things that you want to do. And especially because you're leading the way, and for me, how I interpret dancing, as much as I am having a lot of fun, you're also leading this whole feminine that it's so beautiful always, it can be, like just the feminine energy around, how beautiful that energy expresses around, and you are the one leading that way, that. So the feminine don't need to care about where she's going or where, the person is going, because nowadays you have roles and genders and everything, but you're paving the way, and then she just needs to be beautiful, and that femininity as well that is following around. So I love dancing because of that. And I have also put myself in the role of a follower when I have to teach as well, how the girls move and, all this part. It's also tapping into, how delicate you can be, how, that role is also very important, because you need to let yourself go and put, trust enough into the person that is leading, that is taking you to the right place as well. So I think it's something that develops a very healthy masculinity as well. I think dancing, it's a top one activity.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, that's so amazing. I think we could talk about dancing for so long. And actually, I think we talked about this in the beginning with Suresh, that we wanted to do an episode where we dance, actually. You've already talked a little bit of masculine, feminine now. And there was an experience recently, I think beginning of this year, when you went to
it was a ayahuasca ceremony.
Ayahuasca ceremony, and there you were not giving guidance or leading, but one of the reasons you went there was because you were looking for guidance.
Yeah, it was a lot on trusting and letting go of the control that usually, like, as a, you have that in the masculine, and it was more like, I am not controlling anything here. I will let myself go and see where it takes. I will trust the whole process. Yeah. And I think that in such an experience, it might be the scary part as well, because you know that at some point you have to let go in order to have a beautiful experience and allow yourself to feel so many things that you can feel in such an experience. So, but I wouldn't put it as a masculine itself or as a feminine itself, but it's a whole energy, and the whole experience itself within the ayahuasca, it was a oneness, it was, and the main energy there in that experience was love. Yeah. And love has no gender, or there is no, or I don't understand it as, the masculine or the feminine. Love is love, and love it's love throughout, everything that we experience. You can love your plants, you can love your pets, you can love, someone else, you can love your brother, you can love your sister, you can love your best friend. You have the romantic love as well. So it doesn't really have that, but it's more something that you just feel and you cannot really control. When you are in love, you don't have reasons, because if you have reasons, then it's not, I don't feel like it's love anymore, like you're, so it's a whole different thing. And that experience was beautiful, and it was definitely full with love.
How did you arrive at this moment where you decided, okay, I'm looking for guidance, I want to do an ayahuasca retreat? Like, where did you come from? What was your motivation to even get there?
I have had some friends that already had done it, and they have told me about their experiences, maybe not in great detail, not to spoil the experience to people, but I knew that I was going to do it through all those things that were happening that year, with my salsa classes growing and the person I became. I called a friend of mine that has done these trips, and I told her, look, I think I'm ready for an ayahuasca experience. Put me in touch with your shamans. Yeah, let's do it. And at the very beginning, we were supposed to do it together. She got sick, so at the end, she couldn't go to the ceremony, which I think it was even better, because then I had the whole thing on my own, like, I think it was just an experience for myself. We were around 25 people in that ceremony, full with nature in the mountains of Colombia, like, it was the shaman and his wife, which also is a shaman, that he was part of a ceremony. So you had also, again, the masculine and the feminine in the ceremony. A lot of the people that was in the journey was first timer as well. So there was a little bit of, everybody was super quiet and didn't know what to expect at the beginning, super shy. And yeah, the shamans did a great job also explaining on what to expect, what not to expect, the intentions that we should put onto the journey.
So what was the intention that you put?
You can have a lot of expectations, but you will get what you need from the plant. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily get what you want to get, because some people was looking for calmness, or some people was looking for answers or something like this. Maybe, sometimes you get biased, or you want to get something, and then the plant will give you what you actually need. Okay. So when I went there, my whole salsa community was growing. I was in a point where I didn't know whether, it's the right path to take. There's some doubt, because it's, out of the status quo of, your job, normal 9 to 5, to pursue something that it's giving me a lot of fulfillment, and it's also helping some other people as well. Again, for all the things that we already talked that dancing gives you, dancing is not about dancing, but about everything else, and the community and all these things. So I had a lot of doubts whether I was in the right path. And it also, before the whole ceremony, the shaman came to me like, why are you here today? He asked me this question, and I was like really looking for something. And then I found this word, guidance. Mm-hmm. I told him I'm looking for guidance. He looked at me and like, that's a very good word. I hope you get what you need,
Because when you said guidance, what was about your like in life in general?
Yeah, in general.
What to do with your salsa business?
Yes, absolutely. Like I was looking for guidance in general, but let's say in my head it was more directed to this thing that is growing now, this community that is growing, and that was, let's say, the main point. But I think we always need some guidance, like give me the north, because life, we don't really know where we're going, right? Yeah. And things can change from one day to the other. So it's good to know that you're in the right path, at least, let me know that I am going into the right direction, because we have so many paths to follow. At the end of the day, we choose where to go with every step that we take. Yeah. So I just wanted some reassurance that I was going in the right direction with everything that I was planning for this year to happen. The whole ceremony started. We had like some shots of this. I call it like a magical potion, because as I was telling you, they put a lot of intention behind the preparation, behind the whole ceremony. We have like prayings to all the directions. We have that intention, and when they give you this magical potion, even like the shaman puts it's like casting a spell. She's like, because it's a shot, it's like a shot of some beverage that, the taste.
It's made from jungle plants?
Yeah, it's made of jungle plants. They actually have the tree that they make this thing next to their house. So it's like a big green area. I don't know how many meters, it was a nice piece of land. And it's a family that lives there. And then they have their plants that you need to make these preparations there. So it's everything made there, and they hold spaces once a month or once every 2 weeks, I think, for people to have this kind of thing. And when they're preparing, even when they're giving to you, the lady was, besides all the smoke and, all the prayings and everything, she's like, a lot of light, a lot of light, a lot of love, a lot of light, a lot of life. Mm-hmm. So when they're giving it to you, it has such a great vibe already. This what you're. It's very mystic.
Yeah, it sounds very spiritual. Are you by nature also a little bit spiritual, or how did this feel? I'm not sure if it was the first time in such a ceremony.
Yeah, I am definitely not religious. I know, or I believe a lot on. Not that I believe, it's more like I understand how energies work. Also because I have understood about Tantra as well. So I have like this kind of tantric philosophy in my life, and people, whenever they hear Tantra, they immediately think about sex, and it's way beyond that,
It's only like 10% of Tantra is only sexual, right?
Life philosophy, and how do you get all your energies, also the masculine, the energy, the feminine, how we all have all these energies inside us, regardless of the gender. So I understood the vibration and like the intensity of the moment, and that was a beautiful thing. Of course, again, it was my first time, so I was also a little bit nervous because I didn't know what to expect. A lot of people say that, oh, you will puke and then you will, shit on your pants and everything. It's really far from how it is. I think that for everybody, it's also very different. But they tell you it's your own journey, so don't talk to people. You are here for yourself, introspection. Place yourself whatever you want. Again, it was nature, it was during the day. So I had my time where I was walking around the nature, like having that meditative space with myself, trying to really let the thoughts come, observing the thoughts, just letting them go. There was a lot of things happening. I was, back in Colombia after so many years as well. So there was a lot of things behind. I was also in my point of power because, that's where I am from. I speak in my language in Spanish, you feel way more confident. And then I was like full with energy.
Sounds like a very grounded space for you.
Just for the sake that I was in my own land. And that's why I wanted to do it there, because you have these experiences around the world, but it's better when, in Colombia, I will do it with people and I will understand the language. It's very different. So I had that space where it was very meditative. Then I had another shot. They were asking, if someone needed a little bit more of a shot. It's a very personal decision. Some people with one shot, they already had what they needed for them to have the experience that they needed. Some people needed more. I know that someone took like 4 shots or 5 shots. It really depends on people. I took a second shot, and after that, I could already feel the energy flowing. I have had similar experiences as well with other kind of ceremonies that I have had before, but this was super gentle. And again, I was just letting myself go, like thinking less and feeling more.
And did the guidance come, or how did that work out for you?
The guidance came after the third shot, actually. It was crazy because I was still feeling a lot of energy flowing. And then the lady came again. Who thinks that needs another shot, or who hasn't not feel anything? And then from the 25 at the beginning, the second shot we took 15, and the third shot we were maybe only 5 who was taking the third shot. She comes and she asks like, what are you feeling? It's your first time. Are you sure you need a third shot? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I feel some energy flowing, but I think I need something else. I took the third shot, and it was an immediate feel of, it was already preparing me. I went to puke because I think it's a natural thing anyways. You puke something because you are empty stomach on a day ceremony. You don't really have anything on your stomach. So it was a lot of bringing out a lot of energy. Then I lay down, I closed my eyes, and then the journey started. There was a very nice song playing in the background, because when they were not playing with their instruments, there was like some Pachamama kind of songs playing in the background. And mantras, talking about, life and experiences and the rain, and, and I got a song that really defined my whole journey and my whole, they call it in Spanish like La Pinta. La Pinta is like when you are in that cathartic moment, that trip, when you are connecting with something bigger. And the song was talking about love, so it has mantras like love conquers it all. The one who loves is the most powerful being. Love heals everything. And there was another one that I also remember, where there is love, there is no fear. And each of these mantras, as I was there with my eyes closed, were bringing me images of the people that I love, the people that I get a lot of love from, like not necessarily like in the romantic way, but, my friends, my family. I could see, like it was very interesting, because each of these mantras was like breaking all those fears that I was having. The guidance that I was receiving was the right, like with these things, if there is love, there is no fear. For me, I got it as, if you're doing things from a place of love, success is guaranteed. It was like the biggest being or everything was talking to me. Like, look, the answer is love. If you put your intention from a place of love, that's where the right path is, So, and this is something that I got to myself, and this is now my compass. Whenever I feel doubt or that I feel guidance, I ask myself, from where this that I'm doing or this that I want, from where is this coming from? Am I doing this from a place of love? Or what is my real intention behind, especially now, for example, with the community that I'm building with the salsa thing and everything, or whenever I'm talking with a very good friend of mine, or when I'm having an experience with someone, I ask myself, like, am I really putting some love in this, or why am I doing things? And that's the thing that I got. But, again, coming from the beginning, it tells you what you need, not what you came for. Yeah. And I was very grateful because I got what I needed as well. I went for guidance and I got the guidance that I needed. But then after it, I saw these many images happening and I understood, okay, if you do it from love, it's fine. Then it showed me, or I had a moment of healing where the figure of my mother was there, and it was a very intense thing as well, because I had some not problems or discussions, or like, it has been a relationship that has developed and it has been growing, and I think it has improved a lot in the last few years. But it was 4 years that I haven't seen her, and going back home after so long, being in convivence with them and so on, is not as easy as we think. I was there for a month.
What were some of the struggles you had?
Sometimes, and I think we have talked about this before also, you here in your podcast, how sometimes you're trying to pass a message and then you think that, the conversation went so well, and then you talk to them again some other time and it's like nothing happened, or we didn't have this conversation. So there was a lot of things that I was worried, and I understood that from a place of love, for example, that I wanted her to be maybe a little bit more healthier for herself, to change a little bit of her mindset, to be less on doom scrolling, and being a little bit more active as for her to have a, let's say, healthier aging. She's only 61, 62, she still has probably 20, 30 more years to live. And my dad is a very active man. He goes to the gym very often and everything. And it's just very interesting to see that duality of such a, maybe good example, someone that is taking care of their body and to be healthy, and someone that is like just letting themselves rot. So I was a little bit worried about this happening, and to see that she was not really loving herself, because when you take care of yourself, that's, show that you love yourself as well.
So as a son, you went back to your mom, you tried to help her, tried to talk to her, all that. Of course, like we also discussed this before on the podcast, it's not your job as a son to do that for her. In the end, she has to decide what she's going to do with that. But you, from a place of love already, you were trying to help your mom.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that for me, and this is also something that I had talked to her before, and it's always tricky when we are passing the message, especially to our parents, for them not to feel that we are just doing it because we want to, like get icky with them, or that we are, trying to bother. Yeah. So the biggest challenge is that they don't feel like attacked, because I think it's most of the time for them it feels like, oh, you're attacking me, I am like this, and I'm not gonna change.
They close and become defensive.
Exactly. And then going back to the ayahuasca experience, after I got all this, I could see myself with my mother there, and there was this voice was telling me, hug her, she doesn't
hug her.
Yeah, like I was seeing her in my vision. I was there laid down, my eyes were closed, and I could feel all this energy flowing, and I could see her there, and it was like she was looking little and like, clenched on herself, and it was more like she doesn't know how to receive love. Love her because she needs this. Hug her, give her as much as you need to break all this, let's say, shell that she was put in. I know for facts and conversation that I had with my grandma, how much of a hard bringing up my mother had. Like, she came up from a very tough family, tough love, and yeah, it was tough love. So I understood this, and in my vision was like hug her, and she was at the very beginning like very kind of, I don't want this. And then she just allowed herself to feel. She broke into tears of healing. Again, the one who loves is the most powerful. And from love heals everything. I could feel so much energy and so much of this love and purity going through me and connecting to everything that I felt like amazingly powerful. And I also broke into tears in that ceremony as well. While I was there having this pinta happening, I understood that, you know, that how love is healing. And I broke into tears because it was an overwhelming feeling. And it was a beautiful feeling. I was crying not of happiness, not of sadness. I was crying out of love. And it felt so good. I have never felt such a pure feeling in my life. Like purity, the purity of love at that moment. And it's immense, it's infinite. And that was when I could feel also the shamans were driving my journey with some plants around. The guy was just like taking something and putting it out. I could hear like drums on top of me because there were like two people kind of aiding me on my journey without touching me, but more like having all this energy. And the guy was also moving all the energies around. I was shaking at that moment from all the energy flowing. Then it all calmed down, right? Like I could feel that moment of healing happened. Then it kind of vanished. And I was there, like at the moment, you know, like it kind of vanished. I could calm down. I breathe in, I put myself together. It was beautiful. I was just like, oh, I need to, you know, just breathe in, let myself in. I was there laying down for a while. Then, you know, like the pinta was over kind of a thing. I was just walking around. I went to the river. They also had a river close. So I went to the river, put my feet in the water. I was already like gone with all these things. We had a closing of a ceremony. And a couple of days later, I went back to my city because this was in another city. And the first thing I did that night was to go to my mom. Like, hey, Mom, the funny thing is that before I went to the ayahuasca ceremony, we kind of had a discussion, you know. So it was a whole topic even before the ceremony happening. And when I came...
what was the discussion on?
It was like a silly discussion again. It was more like just the way how we talk to each other. Okay. That, oh, maybe you talk to me a little bit too hard, you know, like silly things that, but still, that were there. And the very first thing that I come after was, hey, let's go for a walk. She was like, no, I don't want to go, la, la, la. I'm like, no, Mom, let's, you know, get ready. We finished dinner, let's go for a walk. And then she got ready, we went for a walk. We were talking a little bit, discussing about that little beef that we had before and how this and that. And then at some point I sit with her like, look, let me share the experience that I just had this weekend. And as I was telling messages that came to me that I needed to pass to her, the same scene that I saw on the ceremony was happening there in the middle of a street. It was night, we were in a place and we were just hugging there. And I was just there hugging her, holding the space for her. And she understood everything. And she tried to talk, like trying to not defend, but like to reason it and everything. And then she couldn't. And then she just like broke into tears. And she let it out. And we were there like for, I don't know, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, just hugging, me and my mother, in a hug where, she just broke in and I was just there giving her all the love. The next day, man, like the next day, after days we went back home, the next day I could already see that she really got the message.
Both in the vision, but also in what happened in the end. It sounds a lot like you developed the ability to see her inner child in a way, because all she wanted, you said that she also grew up with tough love and didn't really learn how to receive or maybe also give love, and just you broke that and you kind of gave the little child in her what she always wanted or what she always needed. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I told her this, and I also had some conversations with my grandma who passed away last year. So I brought also her mom into the topic and all the understanding I got from the talks that I had with my grandma, that my mom never knew that we talk about her or how we talked about her and everything. So it added on to the sentiment, and I think that it also helped her heal whatever feelings she had with the grandma that maybe she couldn't heal before, or they couldn't really talk before she passed away. I had messages from her that it was the first time that she was hearing these kind of things, that my grandma had her on high regards, but my grandma never told her. That there are a lot of...
It's a common pattern, it seems like.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that maybe the parents don't tell the kids.
Yeah.
And as a grown-ups, how important it is to tell them how proud they maybe are to you, or even us as, now the relationship that I have with them as well. I also tell my parents how proud I am of them. My dad, he still works and he does amazing things, and how proud I am that my mom now is going to the gym more often, and also with all the conversations that we have developed, how grateful I am, not only proud of whomever they are now, because they also had their own evolution. Sometimes we think that they are not evolving because we don't see them that much, but they are also having their own evolution as we are evolving as well, and sometimes we don't see this. So I'm also making sure that I let them know how proud I am and how grateful I am for all the things that they did for me to become the man that I am now. Because I am who I am, because I still think that I had a very healthy family growing up with. They are still together. I got a lot of love from them both. And only recently I could understand a lot of the sacrifices, because of a talk that I also had with her last year, of the sacrifices they went through to raise up a family. I think that for us as a kids, it's like we take it for granted.
You don't see it.
You don't see it. And then once you understand as an adult, I'm like, oh, wow. I cannot believe that you just drop your job so you can stay home with me, not for someone else taking care of me, but you be the one who teach me this and that. And so my dad, how hard work, how much he did so we could have bread at home, like the food and a shelter and all these things, that we take for granted. So I think part or a big chunk of how good my relationship with them has been is for me to understand also all this, that it's not only me who is developing and improving and getting better as we think that we are, because I think we are in the right path, but also to praise them on, hey guys, don't worry, you did a great job with me. I think I'm a very good person and a very good human being, and a lot of this is because of you. Because of you both, because of you, dad, who did this, and that, because of you, mother, who even with the tough love, I learned how to be clean and to clean after myself, or to do this, and that. Thanks to you, dad, I have a very, positive mindset, or this, and that, depending on, and maybe, I don't do it as often, but I make sure that I still do it from time to time. And there is always like that feeling of, is good. Sometimes it's like still hard to receive, and it's shocking, but they understand now, expressing love and expressing gratitude towards each other. I think that part of having a very good relationship with your parents is also expressing this, like acknowledging that they did the best they could, to their understanding at the moment. Because sometimes I think we judge on how we grew up, but they were different times, and they were for sure doing the best they could to their conscious level at the time, because now their conscious level is different as our conscious level is different. And if we ever have a kid, we will raise them in a very different way, and it will be to the best way that we know at the moment. Right?
Yeah, and I think showing this gratitude, appreciation, and acknowledgement of what they did for you, raising you, for example, I think that opens so many doors as well, because it takes away the need to defend yourself. Like them, for example, what we said before, that a lot of times you start talking to your parents and they feel like they need to defend themselves. They close down.
Yes.
But if you already acknowledge them and showed your gratefulness and understanding towards their reality back then, I think you take away this need to even have a defense, because it's fine. and we're not trying to change the past or anything. All we do is try to live a better present, right?
Yes, live a better
and
now.
If you get your parents to a level where you can talk on this basis, I think that's beautiful. I think it's not achievable for everyone. I mean, everyone also has different relationships. We don't know what happened in everyone's life also. Like,
I think a big part of that is to really let go of the ego, because that was a big part of me when I took the first move on improving my relationship with my mom back in 2016, because it has been a journey of years when I was like really tired of how bad we were getting along. And then I was like, okay, I know she's very proud and she's not going to make a different move. Maybe it's my turn to just let go of my ego and being proud, because I actually want to improve this relationship. I don't want to be a angry grown-up that has resentment over their parents. Yeah. You know, I want to be a different kind of person that has a very good relationship with my parents, because that's also healthy for me. And I was explaining to you, I am now at days as much as authentic as I can be. I don't hide anything from my parents. They know, you know, as much as I can tell them, they know, you know, many things that I know people cannot or wouldn't share to their parents for the fear of being judged. Yeah. I know that my parents don't judge me anymore, and that I know that they understand me, how I am and who I become, and they only support. And if they are asking a lot of questions, which I know that sometimes for us is a little bit tough to get so many questions, I know that they are doing it from a place of I want to understand, not the I want to judge.
Yeah, curious, not judgmental.
Yeah, but to get to that point, many years passed where I needed to understand, okay, they come from a different past, they come from different families, they have different chips and mindsets in their head. Things have changed. How can I, you know, from a place of love, showing them, look, this is who I am, this is who I have become, this is what I understand. I know that you have this, and that, but I am this, and that. You know, let's work with it. And again, thank you for everything, and for all the sacrifices. But thanks to all that, I have all this, and I have also become all this on my own. And I want to share this with you as well. From my mental health and how I have developed in the last times, and the guidance that I got from the ayahuasca and everything is all that, like, you know, from a place of love, authenticity, how good relationship you have with your parents, because at the end of the day, they brought you to life. Yeah. And we just need to praise and be grateful for everything that we got from them.
I think this makes you a great example of what can happen when you decide to break the cycle, so to say. Talk about generational cycles that you handed down to your kids, basically. So, like, for example, the topic of love that your grandma handed to your mother, and then your mother hands to you. If you don't do shit, this is your path. This is your path. But you decided to break it, right? And basically send love the other direction. Yeah. And I can now imagine that you probably have less of a problem receiving and giving love than your mom, for example, and you, in that sense, breaking a cycle there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, no one knows what you will give to your kids. It's like, let's see. But it also goes to show that breaking a cycle is hard, because you said, like, it stretches over years. You don't know, it might sometimes 2 years, sometimes 10 years. It depends on your situation. But the reward is that you can be yourself, you can be authentic, you can have a genuine relationship with your parents. There's no, like, ghosts in the closet that you can't talk about, you know?
Yeah, and they're open to experiences as well. Like, I share with them experiences that I know that a few years ago they wouldn't be able to do. And I have even had, you know, like, joints with them together where we're like, Mom, let's have this. I want you to experience this. Or even to my dad, he didn't get it so well, actually. But my mom took it much better. But it's something that, you know, they understand, and they also asked a lot of questions about many, many things. But again, it's from a place of understanding that they are doing it now. That's what I feel. I don't feel judged anymore, and this is a great feeling when you break that on. I don't feel any judgments from my parents, because they know that I'm a good human, and you know, there is a lot of me that comes from them. That's great. It took a lot of time, and it's still something that
it's a work in progress.
It's a never-ending process, you know. It's a never until they are there. There will be always challenges, and there will be always conversations, and there will be always some things that you gotta work on. But the beauty of it is that we're in a very good path, and yeah, we understand the dynamics, how things are going, and at least my relationship with them is very good.
Yeah, I think you're a really beautiful example for healing that relationship to your parents. You said so many cool and inspirational things. Also, I took some mental notes for myself. Thank you so much for sharing all this.
My brother.
And a couple of questions maybe before we wrap it up. What does it mean to be a healthy man?
Purpose, like to really have a purpose defined, which I know is very hard sometimes to really find, you know, what are we here for and everything, but to have at least something to look for, North Star, or something that really drives you. Like drive is important. I think it is important to be always true to yourself and to the people. I think it's like a lot on being honest and the most transparent. I think that's important. A good relationship with the people that brought you to life. I think that, or healing, maybe not even like physically with them, but to heal that inside yourself and forgive whatever you have to forgive, and, you know, move forward with all the things. I think that is a very important thing. And also to be very attuned with all the traits that we have, you know, like as we were mentioning at the beginning, you know, every person has their some masculine and feminine energy, and I think vulnerability is one of the biggest assets of a healthy man. When we are able to be vulnerable and being open about many things, but still be strong, and able to navigate through tough times. I think part that also comes with having a very good circle of friends and male friends that you can have these kind of conversations as well. I think that is very important to have someone, or I am very grateful for the friends that I have around me, because they always challenge me, and we always have these kind of deep conversations. And of course, we also, as men, you know, we're bullshitting around and we this and that. But sometimes when we sit and we have to have the conversation about life, about partnerships, about friends and people that genuinely cares about you and how are your family and how's you're doing, how's your mental health, you know, like you just went through a breakup or something, bro, how you doing, you know, like in a way that I generally care about you and how are you doing, not maybe trying to fix anything, but let's just have a conversation. I think that is also an important part of being a healthy man and having a healthy masculinity as well.
Yeah, a lot of familiar things in there, also on authenticity, like being your true self. And yeah, very interesting also with the community around you, right? And if you as a listener are now thinking, I don't have friends that I can talk to, it's worth a shot to give it a try. I've realized for myself that sometimes doing that one-on-one before doing it in a group setting works better. But also, if you're looking for a community, feel free to DM us on Instagram or any of our channels. We are hosting online men's circles. So if you're looking for a community like that, feel free to DM us and we'll invite you to our next meeting. I wanted to ask you if there's one thing that you can leave us with and our listeners with today. What is your wish for them in this moment?
My wish for them is that they can be or they can develop an authentic self. I think that is a very important, and whenever you are very authentic, you are high on vibration, or you're like you're the most self that you can be, you know. And whenever you are as much authentic that you can be, then you really attract the people that is resonating with you. I think you get into a different level of vibration as well. That's one thing that I hope you can open the doors to be the most self that you can be. And it's also a discovery, an everyday discovery, because the self that I was 7 years ago, it's a very different person than I am now. And, you know, I know the path. And another thing is that you can, at some point in your life, tune in with, you know, that love and that big, you know, source of energy that is love. And something that it came to me, you know, as in the compass is always that intention, you know, like what is the intention that you're putting into the things that you do on every day? You know, sometimes you do things because of money, sometimes because you whatever. But there are like something way beyond that, which is like, okay, what, you know, if you're doing things from a place of love, you know, if you want to help your community, as it's an expansion feeling, you know, and whenever you share it and you give, you always get and multiply the love, you know. And once you're doing it genuinely, you understand this, and then it's a never ending source of energy. And you just, you know, just give love, because for sure you will get multiplied, man. This is facts. This is facts. So that's my message for the people.
Do things with intention and do it from a place of love is gonna get you to places. Yeah,
success guaranteed.
Let's go. Hey, thank you so much for being with us today. We are going to add your socials in the episode description, so you can follow Cris, you can join his community of salsa dancers, you can book him if you're in Budapest. I'm sure he will also do a virtual one with you. So yeah, do reach out to the man. He has so much to offer, and honestly, learning dancing with him, I think it's like a next level dancing experience because of the vibe he radiates and the love he puts into it.
Thank you very much. Hands, it's all right, man. Thank you very much for the invite, man. It was a pleasure.
And maybe see you again in the future.
Absolutely, man. For sure.